situation where you find that they look at the same.
Not necessarily tribal or regional.
But I have said that.
All right, now thank you for staying with us. Now we begin with the Daily Trust newspaper today, and quite a number of stories really. The lead story, again, politics, politics, politics. 2023, Wike moves against Atiku, Saraki, courts 5 governors. The writer says former Vice President, ex-Senate President to declare soon. Everyone can contest. That's according to the PDP BOT member. We are not aware Atiku's aid. Atiku's delay gives Rivers governor winning hand. That's according to Varsity Dawn. And then the pictorial there shows you the scene of an accident involving a Lagos-bound passenger train which crushed a trailer and a tricycle in Kano yesterday. And then you'd see also 2023 challenges before Osinbajo. And then you see also 4 killed, 20 arrested in Lagos Cold War. The next story below that, Super Eagles AFCON journey ends abruptly after 0-1 loss to Tunisia. Well, the pictorial there, quite a tragic one. I mean, I don't know, people should be aware of the train lines, isn't the rail tracks, you know, because I think that a lot of people take this train tracks for granted. Maybe because for a while, for a very long time, those the train, you know,
the tracks
have not been in operation. So maybe they think that, look, things are changing. The trains are back, literally. They are back and they are getting back. More of them are getting back. So I think that people really should be more cautious, right, you know, these days. Well, that's that for the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay, let's take a look at some more stories on the Punch newspaper this morning. The Punch is also leading with stories about politics, and it states here, Electoral Act Amendment. Bill bars voters from contesting candidate certificates in court. Only co-contestants at primaries can sue on candidate certificates credentials. This is according to ex-INEC director. You'd also see new provision will be challenged. National Assembly can't masquerade those seeking office, says SAN. You see a pictorial there of demonstrators during a defeat to defeat the mandate's anti-vaccination protest at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Poll in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. You'd also find other stories on the Punch on page 29 that states 5G deployment gets boost. CBN gives telcos forex priority. You'd also see stories about PSC summons IG over police recruitment, workers set for strike. Sacked NSITF management saved 2 billion naira, left 30 billion naira debt, says Ngige. And on page 41 on the Punch newspaper, U.S. team CSO witnessed MKO Abiola's death in Abuja clinic. This is according to Abdul Salami. And you'd also find other stories. NDLEA seizes UK Saudi-bound cocaine in wings, 6 arrested in Abuja. Lagos businessman tortures apprentice to death over missing 1,000 naira. Flees 1,000 naira. This is quite very, very tragic. You'd also see the story about stop imposing hijab beret on students, Kwara warns principals. These are some of the major stories on the Punch this morning.
You know, it's really sad, Z, the story you read about, you know, the Lagos businessman torture apprentice to death over missing 1,000 naira. One just begin to think about what kind of society are we living in, you know, these days, when you listen to the kind of horrific stories really coming from different quarters. The other day it was about Hanifa, who was abducted and killed by her own teacher. We heard how a girl in an IDP camp had to commit suicide because an aid worker raped her.
Terrible.
I mean, some of these very, very touching stories.
Really
these
very
days.
tragic, the stories we hear these days.
People, life seems to have lost its value, and I think that that's unacceptable. People must think about their humanity first. Where is the patience? Where is the virtue of patience?
I think we've lost that over time.
I mean, 1,000
really
naira
sad.
for crying out loud. I mean, what is it worth, for you compared to the life of this innocent person? I hope that investigations will be done and that the person, the culprit, will be arrested to face the law, really. The next paper, let's take a look at The Guardian now. And on The Guardian, the lead story talks about economists, stock market, weight on monetary tools as MPC meets. You'll also see other writers there. Set up price control mechanisms, Owo advises. Monetary tools are handicapped, address supply rigidity, says Dawn. Nation's economy institutions in free fall. Ex-FSB boss laments. Stock market performance hinged on MPC outcome there. All right, now you would see the picture there showing you the president and chief executive of the Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, the president of the African Development Bank, and also the chairman of Gerugu Power PLC, Femi Otedola, there, displaying fertilizer from the refinery being constructed by Aliko Dangote there. Very interesting sight there to behold. I hope that all of these developments that we are seeing will trickle down and have impact, in the life of the ordinary Nigerian, the economy of the country. We'll take a look at also below the nameplate. You'll see other stories. We didn't kill Abiola, Abdulsalami clarifies. You'd find details of that on page 3. And hey, the exclusive to that interview is on Trust TV. That interview was Trust TV's interview. We need to make that clear. So if you want to watch the whole of the interview, about an hour-long interview, just go to our YouTube page. You'd find it right there and have a sense of what really happened, prior to Nigeria's transition into the Fourth Republic. Nigeria at the time was at the crossroads, and these were the men that shaped what we have now.
Right, and it's really very quite interesting to actually hear from them. I think this is the first time we're getting to actually hear things
in full
like
details.
this. Yes.
We've had a lot of speculations, really, about how Abiola died, how he was poisoned, how he took tea and died, and all of that.
It was Apple, some said Apple.
A lot of speculations, really. But, I mean, this interview puts to rest some of the claims that have been made over time. And trust me, a lot of conspiracies by, critics or whatever, is now being explained, and all of that. So you can watch that on our YouTube. And then the next story there, gunmen kill 4 miners in Plateau. You'd find that on page 30. The next one, pay your $3.4 billion fine. Bonga oil spill victims tell Shell. And below that, Ipman falls NLC's planned protest against subsidy removal. Now, beside the pictorial, you'll see choose candidate from Ekiti South to avert failure. Bamisile advises APC. And then the next one, court quashes suit against Buni-led APC panel. These are the major stories on the front page of The Guardian this morning.
Okay, let's take one more paper, talking about The Nation newspaper. The lead story on The Nation states subsidy. Labour intensified mobilization for protests. And the writers, planned action unnecessary, says federal government. What government should do by TUC. You'd also see other stories there, conflicting rulings, MBA yet to take action on lawyers. No assets underpriced, says AMCON. EFCC didn't arrest Kuru. You'd also see other stories on The Nation. 2022, Oyetola challenges opponents to obtain forms. Eagles' poor tactics caused loss to Tunisia, says Okocha. Okay, you'd also see other stories. APC, why we won't call NEC meeting before convention. State EXCOs for inauguration February 3rd. You'd also see other stories. The 6 months forex inflows can offset Nigeria's $44 billion debts. You'd also see a pictorial there of the NDLEA seizure. Quite huge there. That's that's a lot of drugs there. You can see right on that picture there. And you'd also see what Buni-led caretaker has achieved. 112 illegal refineries found in Rivers State. So these are some of the major stories on The Nation newspaper this morning.
All right. Well, very interesting stories there on the papers today. You know, when you take a look at the one about, the 2023 elections, the one on the front page of Daily Trust newspaper, where Tankoya Kasai, an elder statesman, says it's unjust for North to retain power. That's talking about the 2023 elections.
Zoning comes up again.
Yes, so again, the issue of zoning, the issue of rotation of power, comes to bear each time we talk about that. A lot of people have said, look, in the interest of national unity and cohesion, in the interest of inclusion, in the interest of everyone having a sense of belonging, it's important that we have some kind of rotation of power. They call it zoning, but again, others have said, look, this concept of zoning, it hasn't helped anyone. I mean, people should just be voted based on their merit or based on what they are bringing to the table, based on their track record, instead of insisting that they should come from a particular region. But hey, Nigeria, whether we like it or not, is wired in such a manner. The democracy of Nigeria is wired in such a manner, especially if you look at the politics even prior to independence. And then during the early years of the independence. It was a regional kind of politics that was played at the time. It was a regional government, a regional system of government at the time. So you find that politicians were rooted, based on the regions in which they came from. The north is there, the south is there, and then, and all of that. So I believe that we haven't been able to move away from that. Even now that we practice a presidential system of government, that is a federal kind of a federal kind of system. We haven't been able to move away from that practice. And so you find that sometimes even our media is tilted towards that direction. We take these issues and we make them so loud.
Some people are also concerned about the way we are going about the whole conversation about zoning. Some politicians, some have argued, say most of them want to use that for their selfish gains, and we are not taking the whole issue of zoning the way it should be harnessed. And this is why we're having a lot of problems with the whole, our political system. But I really don't know how
truly, this is fueled by the distrust that Nigerians, have, among each other. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, you find that if someone writes on the back of zoning or on the back of, it's my turn, to get into a power, then eventually when that person gets to power, what you are likely to see is that he will bring in all his people, from that region to dominate, despite, constitutional provisions for, federal character and, certain policies to make sure that there's a balance and there's this representation from all parts of the country, So it's very important that as Nigeria, we begin to look at Nigeria as a whole and not just as an ethnic, expression, because that's very important to our economic growth. Trust me. If we are not able to move away from these regional kind of a thinking, then I doubt if we're really going to make any progress.
You know, I think despite our diversity as a nation, we should look, you know, beyond just ethnicity and religion in choosing a true leader. It should be about credibility, accountability, and what that person has to bring to the table. I think that should be where our eyes should watch out for, not
and,
just...
and the elites have a role to play here, because at the end of the day, hey, when you think about it, the ordinary Nigerian, does he really care where the president actually comes from?
You know,
Nigerians want...
He should just deliver the dividends of democracy.
Nigerians want,
That's what we want to see.
A good life. They just want, you know, social amenities provided for them. They just want dividends of democracy. But you find that these discussions are made so very loud by the elites, you know, and then forced upon the ordinary citizens, the ordinary Nigerians. And so they too, they take it hook, like line and sinker.
Terrible.
I mean, and it's really unfortunate that the majority of Nigerians, young people who are really not really enlightened and educated to, you know, think in the line of what we are talking about right now, are caught in the middle of all of this. And they are the ones that get to, and unfortunately they are in the majority.
Terrible. And it's really, this I think is very, very important that people get educated. Today is the day to celebrate education, and as part of, you know, preparations come 2023 elections, a lot of advocacy, we should see a lot of advocacies going on, a lot of campaigns going on, you know, on the rights of voters and how we should go about choosing a true leader for Nigeria.
Truly. Nigeria, as it approaches 2023, cannot afford to make another mistake.
No.
Cannot afford. And so young people must understand, they must rise up to understand that, look, you have these politicians, they are there. I mean, behind the scenes, they are all good. You know, they are all good. They are friends, they are this, they are that. But when they come before, you know, some Nigerians, they are being misled to think that, look, we belong to this camp, you belong to this camp. And so you find that there's all manner of friction and all manner of violence, you know, among young people. People should beware, because in this year, 2022, you're going to see a lot of things. These rhetorics that sometimes, you know, they spell doom to us as Nigerians. You're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of conspiracies. You're going to see a lot of blackmails, you know, and all of that. People will be, you know, sending hate speeches, as a matter of fact, you know, against each other. Politicians.
And I really don't know why it's when elections are around the corner that you start to hear and see things like this, you know, happening. A lot of them happening.
Because politicians, everyone is after his own. They are all after, you know, what they can get. So whatever it takes to bring down the opposition, the person that is opposing them, whatever it takes to bring that person down, even if it means cooking up some stories that are not really true. And especially these days with social media, it seems very easy to do that.
It's terrible.
You know, so it's very important that Nigerians pay attention to what matters, pay attention to the details, and not the frivolities. Well, another one. Let's take a look at this issue of that story touches me, and I really want to, you know, comment more about it. The story about the Lagos businessman torturing, you know, an apprentice to death over missing 1,000 naira. And he has fled, you know, as a matter of fact. So, and that's part of what we are hearing. This also comes just days after we heard that story from Maiduguri, where the boy's throat was slit.
It's terrible. You know, from you know, the whole story that I read, it happened, I think it happened a long time, quite earlier than when the story actually surfaced. And then the other boy was from a well-to-do family, and the school wanted to actually hide that the incident actually happened. But along the line, you know, everything was out, and I'm really glad he was out. And we really hope to see justice served, and I like the way the Borno State government is going about the whole issues. And these seem to prop up in recent times, and nothing has been done about such cases. But I really hope something is done about this to send signal to others who actually want to go into things like this?
True. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, humanity is what makes us human, you know, as a people. I don't know what we teach children, you know. Sometimes when you see the way some parents bring up their children, you really wonder, you know, whether they are teaching them to have respect for life. Because, I mean, here you have a child who is probably wealthy and coming from a well-to-do home. He sees the way his parents treat other people who are below them. So, for instance, you have people working in your house, right? People who are serving you in your house, and, you know, of course. And then you see the utterances sometimes. And these children, they see all of these things.
Oh, children are best. They are the best copycats out there. You know, they see everything that you do. And sometimes, you know, these cues happen early in life, and we don't. Sometimes we think
we take it for granted.
Yes, we take it for granted.
You think
and don't
that the child
it's
is not
serious.
watching.
Yes, yes.
All of these things, they help to shape the personality of your child. And trust me, no matter what you are going to say, it's not as important as what you do before that child.
Exactly.
So it's very important that as parents, treat people humanely. Show your children why they need to respect other people, because it's very important for them to do that. You don't want to see how your child is going to end up when he, you know, turns out to be that monster, you know, that can decide to just take people's lives. It's not what you want to see.
And truly, I also want to talk about the issue of supervising, you know, looking out, particularly in boarding schools. You know, there's not really much supervisions in boarding school. Everybody just, when it's light out, everybody just go back to the hostel and all of that. And there's not really much of supervisions going on to actually see what really happens, you know, in these schools. I would also think it's important that we get to see, you know, cameras, like cameras in CCTV cameras, you know, in these schools, so that we can have a sense of what's really happening and also checkmate the activities that happen in these schools, because it's really very, very sad, the kind of stories you hear these days.
True. And, you know, some of the schools, they want to, you know, cut costs. They want to employ fewer people to manage a larger number of children, which sometimes is really not feasible. You know, you need the manpower. You need people that will work shifts to keep an eye on these children, because you really don't know what they are doing when nobody is watching.
Really
so it's very important, you know, to do that. It's very, very important to do that. Well, also briefly, let's talk about the subsidy, removal of subsidy. The Nation leads with the story that says, subsidy, Labour intensifies mobilization for protest, planned action unnecessary, says federal government. What government should do by TUC. That's according, it seems like we are in for a showdown this year, you know, with the whole removal of subsidy thing.
Yeah, the whole showdown for me was when Lowell, the president of the Senate, said Buhari didn't order the removal of the subsidy, and people were like, okay, so who did? Because we saw a lot of conversations happening about there's going to be subsidy removal, and there's going to be 5,000 to cushion the effect of the subsidy, and then now
all of a sudden the president did not ask anyone. So it becomes contradictory, really, when you think about it. We hear this on one hand, and we hear this on the other hand. So it's a contradiction. We hope that we'll have you know, a straight something very, very straightforward, you know, at the end of the day, as far as this is concerned. But Labour is just not going to have it. They are getting ready for a massive protest. We hope that that doesn't happen, because if that happens, we're going to, you know, record some losses, and I'm sure that government wouldn't want that. All right, now we'll take a short breather, and then when we come back, we'll continue our discussions. Please stay with us.
But in a situation where you find that a person look like the same,
Not necessarily tribal or regional.
but I have said that